Brooke found herself in a situation where she was laid off. But I want to expand this talk to basically if you're not working or even anything where you are in explanation mode, meaning you might hear me say, for those of you that follow me a lot, in an interview, there's offense and there's defense. And when they ask you to clarify something, explain something, why are you no longer there? You're in defense mode because you're not going to win any points by not being there. You just need to make sure you don't lose points, and you want to get that over with as quickly as possible so you can get back on offense. Or when they say, geez, I saw that you've gone from this company to this company to this company, you're in explanation mode. Now they're asking you a question. Why is that the case? Why did you do that? Right? Why did you switch industries? Why did you switch companies? All of those kinds of questions, you're in defense mode. So why did you leave your current company? Why are you open to leaving your current company, right? You're in defense. Now, there's ways to turn those into offense. But here's what I want you to see what Brooke asked me in the system and what I said to her. And there's a couple of really great lessons here. Now, first thing she says, so this was just a few days ago. Hey, you coach, I think my upcoming interviewer may ask me why I left my last job. The truth is I was laid off after just 6 months with 12% of the company. My gut says to be straightforward. Thoughts? If I do mention it, how do I avoid compromising my negotiation leverage when they make an offer? Now, my first response to her, as you notice, because Coach likes to be timely, was 11 minutes later. So 11 minutes after she asked me this question, I said, yes, say the number of people. Okay, now this is what I want you to learn. Say the number of people if it's bigger than 12%, or say 12% if it's bigger than the number of people. Who's tracking? That is, if 24 people got laid off, right, out of a 200-person work unit, you say 24 people, you don't say 12%. Why? Because it sounds bigger, right? Like they did a mass layoff. And then your negotiation leverage has nothing to do with your current employment status. It has everything to do with you making an argument and standing pat. So number psychology. Anytime y'all are explaining yourself, whether you're talking about and you're responding to, hey, how did you implement that project? And I want you to give them context. I want you to use numbers in your context. I was dealing with a $12 million a month loss. I was dealing with, you want to provide gravity to the situation. And oftentimes gravity can be applied based on a numerical assessment. We have an opportunity to gain. There is 80% market share that's open for whatever. You're showing an order of magnitude. Or these are the financial repercussions if we do not remain compliant with. Oftentimes you're using a number. When I say to you, if you would like to join my leadership coaching program on an annual basis, as opposed to a monthly basis, I don't say to you, you can save 50%. I say to you, you will save $291. Because what? That sounds like more, doesn't it? Who's tracking so far? Okay, you get where I'm going with this, right? You want to show level of gravity in whatever numerical fashion provides you the most benefit. We're going to gain so much. We're avoiding losing so much, right? So that's what I said to her, and that was our first exchange. And then the second exchange, she went on to clarify something and said, great tip, Coach Andy. It was greater than 50%, 9 of 17 folks. So I'll say that. Except I didn't just want her to say that. Now that I had a better understanding and had more context that it was 9 of 17, I went on to say, and here's another piece on numbers psychology, but another thing on how to shut down and get out of defense mode very quickly. And I want you to take this in a broader perspective. Okay, yes, make sure, now I want her to say it this way. Make sure to say 50% and then mention it's 9 people, because what? 50 is a bigger number than 9. Because, and also 50 could be 2 of 4, right? Okay, so do not say they let half the team go. Half sounds like a small number, okay? So you don't want to use fractions in this case. So They let over 50% of the team go. That was 9 people. That gives them context. Except now, you need to give them the reason because they kept 8 people. So when you get in situations like this and she's in defense mode, I need her to get out of defense mode as fast as possible. When you respond to a question and you give them information, this goes for any question you get asked and any information you provide, you need to know what is remaining that has not yet been answered. What has not yet been answered, if she stops her response at 9 people, is there were 8 other ones. Why didn't they keep you as one of the 8? You don't want them to ask that question. You need to move on to the next question so you can get back on offense. So then she needs what we call a shutdown remark. So the reason they let those 9 go is because. Use the word because. To follow because is a rationale. The human mind loves the word because and usually becomes satiated as long as you provide a rationale. So I wanted her to say, I said, you need a shutdown statement. You do not want them to ask, why didn't they keep you as one of the so on and so forth. So we went through this exchange over what? I don't know, a 15-minute period. She gets what she needs. She can go on into her interview. And this way she can give them some context regarding, right, what it is that happened, why it happened, give a simple explanation for why they let these 9 go and kept those 8, however it is for her to get out of defense mode as quickly as possible. So whenever I say to you, anytime you're explaining something, and I'm talking about explaining yourself, meaning, why did you do that? Why were you not there? Why did you change this? Why did you go there? Why did you have so many jobs in the last whatever? Why didn't you finish school? Why did any of these? You're in defense mode. You're in explanation of yourself mode. You want to get out of those as quick as possible, and you want to use shutdown remarks to make sure that you do that. Okay? Who's getting that one? Right? Do you understand? The anything that they ask you where you need to clarify something, clarify it completely immediately. And just so there's no more questions to ask. It was 9-17. That's more than half the team. The reason these 9 were gone was because. And that's it. Whatever the rationale is will likely be okay. As long as you give a rationale. Because now there's no more questions to be asked, right? Kind of thing. Okay, this is really, really important. A lot of you get hung up. You're spending a lot of time explaining yourself in an interview. Every minute you spent explaining yourself, you are not on offense, meaning you are not selling yourself. So I want to make sure that you're getting this. Oh, I love this. Okay, so we got a couple other follow-up questions on the Brooke numbers and shutdown. Clint, what if it? Well, first off, I would never use the word just. What if it was just you due to restructuring? You say, my organization restructured. Now, 1, you go to 0. Don't make any reference to the number of people. Say, there was a restructuring, and because I was responsible for this, and it was restructured, it was outsourced, it was whatever. They had a layoff. Now, you might say, well, Andy, what if the question is, well, couldn't they reallocate you? Now, okay, so you got to think of every single possible question. Now, if they say, if in your mind, you're like, they're thinking about, they might ask me why I didn't find another position. They might ask me why the company didn't offer me an alternate position. Right? Any of those are fair game because I would ask you those. You're never gonna get out of that interview with me without me wanting to know that. So you could do a couple things. If they offered you other positions and you were not interested, say I was restructured out of that group, my organization offered to reallocate me too, but I was not interested because. Explain rationale. I'm more interested in, and so on. If the organization did not reallocate, then don't say anything, and just say there was an opportunity for me to evaluate different, or you could proactively say there was an opportunity for me to pursue other options in the organization, but there wasn't anything that I sought there there wasn't anything for me to seek there that I thought was of interest. Explain it, shut it down, kind of thing. So Clint, that's a great question. And Andrea, what if you were laid off, but it was 2 people on the team of 27? How to explain the reason when none was given by the company? Okay, number one, a company, if they're going to let you go, in 99% of the case is going to give you a reason. If there is no reason, then I would rather you speculate a reason, and that speculation should lean towards something that is not your issue, not your fault. And so I would just say to them, I probably wouldn't say 2 of 27 because that doesn't suit you, right? It looks more surgical. I would say my organization was cutting budgets and some of us were let go. And I would try to just shut it down due to budget constraints or something of that nature. Now, I don't know your exact situation, and I will tell you, I do go through a lot of these, and many of them are unique. And sometimes people are leaving for integrity issues, ethical issues. Sometimes people just want to leave and because they don't believe in this or that anymore. Sometimes they get let go. Sometimes it's a situation where they voluntarily took the leave where they were going to let 5 people go off the team, but I decided I would be one of them, so somebody else didn't have to, on an involuntary basis, lose their position. And there's umpteen different ways that this can occur. But the point is, just make sure you've got an explanation and you shut down any additional questions or as many as possible, right? If you're wondering, and then go right into it. But I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, make sure you click the like button. If you're here with me live, we're going to go to the chat. If you're watching this on a recording, I'll see you next week.